Songpond TV.
Hi and welcome to Songpond TV. My name's Ruth and I am your host for Songpond TV. This is episode 8, and if you haven't checked out the other episodes previous to this, I encourage you to go do that now before we go on. Now today we're taking a look at some really special things. The first thing we're taking a look at is the tip for today, which is the introductory chord. So what this is when we have a song to play, whether we're starting in a major key or a minor key, doesn't really matter. There is a specific chord that we can play before we start the song that'll introduce the song, that'll start the key off, and this is particularly useful, especially if you've got a group of people that are wanting to sing with you, and that helps them get their note before you come into it. Just an example, if we're singing Happy Birthday, and this is the starting chord, we're starting on C major, so Happy Birthday to you. So we want to give everyone an introduction, a lead-in to the song so that they know what key we're going to be playing in, so that everyone doesn't start in a different key and it sounds terrible. So our introductory chord sounds like this. And then from there, most people, without knowing anything about music, will be able to gather what key we're going to be in. So, Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, and so on and so forth. So what is that introductory chord? Well, it's commonly known as the 5/7 chord, and the reason for this is because it's built on the 5th note of the scale. So if we're in C major, the 5th note of the scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's G. So the chord's built on G, and it's a 7 chord because it's a dominant 7th chord. And what this means is it's a major chord with the minor 7th added on top. So with our G dominant 7, that's a G, B, D, and F. And so that's our 5/7 chord. And if we're starting in the key of C, which we are, that is going to be our introductory chord into the song. Happy birthday to you. And this exact same thing if we're playing in a minor key. So, happy birthday to you. Doesn't really work with happy birthday, but you see what I mean? It still tells us which key we're going to. Same thing in G. If we're in the key of C, we're wanting to go to a C minor chord. We start with the 5/7 again. Same thing. So that's our introductory chord, the 5/7 chord, and you can work that out for whatever key, whatever chord you're going to be starting in. So that's a little handy hint for you for today. Now the lesson for today is we're having a look at some key things that you can use, some points you can use when you're out shopping for a piano, particularly a digital piano. So we're going to have a look at some points that you need to consider to get the best digital piano for you. So today I'm responding to a question about what other digital pianos out there. Can you give us some reviews and some helpful tips on how to find the best one? And so today we're just looking at some really good points to consider. First thing you need to look at is what kind of pianist are you and what are your needs in a piano. If you're a pianist, if you're wanting to learn piano quite technically and get into the musical theory and things like that, and learning classical piano and songs, basically anything Songpond wise, or if you're into a piano course or you're taking lessons, then you're going to need a piano that is as close to an acoustic piano as possible, so you can get the feel of the weight of the keys and the respondence to pressing those keys. And so what you need to look at is a digital piano. On the other hand, if you're a performance musician or a studio musician, you're a solo artist and you're wanting to create a fuller sound without a band, then you might want to look into a MIDI keyboard, because then they've got lots of sounds to play with and layer over each other so you can create a fuller sound. On the other hand, if you are into composition and you're wanting to compose things for any purpose, really, whether you be professional or just dabbling in it, then you need to look at a workstation, which is, it's like a keyboard, but it has all sorts of crazy geeky functions that you can get into, so that you can start layering the instruments in more depth. But today what we're looking at is digital pianos, and I've compiled a list of some essential things that you need to look for If you're getting a piano, basically it has to have these things, or else it's just not worth it. One of these things is make sure it's a stage piano, and basically what this means is you want it on a detachable, like this one here, with a keyboard stand, instead of the ones you can get digital pianos that are kind of a faux version of a full piano, and they're attached to a big heavy stand. You can't take them anywhere even if you wanted to, so make sure that it is movable and transportable. The other thing is, I feel it's really important that you make sure you get the full 88 key piano. If you get anything less than 76 keys can do, but anything less than that, you're really going to hinder yourself, especially if you're composing or trying to explore improvising. You really want that full range of keys. The other thing is make sure that they're fully weighted keys, not half weighted or semi-weighted. They need to be grading weighted is actually perfect, and that means you're getting the same weight or very similar as you can get on a digital piano to an acoustic piano, and so you're going to be able to create different articulation and also dynamics. Also, you want to look at your pedal. Make sure it's not just a on and off switch, which a lot of keyboards, digital pianos do, cheaper ones. You want a pedal that has the halfway mechanism, so you can do halfway damper or full damper, and you can get different effects with that as well. Also, have a try at playing something with your pedal and making sure that it doesn't slip around too much, because that can be really annoying, especially if you're performing and you're having to chase your pedal around the floor. So you want it to have some sort of attachment on the bottom that you can make it stick to the floor, or something that your heel can stand on. Some pedals have a flap that comes out the bottom where your heel can go on, so it stays there while you're pedaling. One other thing you need to make sure that your keyboard has is voice polyphony, and that is at least 32 plus. And what that means is that's how many voices it is, 32 plus. 64 is really good, but this means that if you play lots of keys and have your sustain pedal down, at one point or the other, it's going to start cutting off the first keys that you played, depending on how many voices it allows. And the last thing I'm going to say is a headphone jack is essential, because one of the reasons that a digital piano is so great, especially if you're buying a keyboard for your children and they're learning and they're lovely and they're really talented, but you don't want to listen to them practicing 8 hours a day. So a headphone jack is really handy there, and they can just put their headphones on and practice in quiet. So that's the must-have features that I really recommend. Some features that are nice to have that you could look for is a built-in metronome in the keyboard. That's always handy to help keep you in time. Also sound layering and key splitting, so you can have maybe strings in your bottom hand and piano up the top, or whatever you want to do. Get creative. Another thing is a sequencer or a recorder built into the keyboard. That's always handy if you want to record your tunes, record improvising to see if you get some really cool riffs that you want to make into a song later on. Another thing is the ability to act as a MIDI controller or MIDI device. That's really handy as well. And some things that help this is a line input, line output, and USB interface. So these are not essentials, but these are all handy if you wanted to do things like record what you're playing or play live. Built-in speakers, bend or modulation wheels for the pitch or volume, so that they're little wheels that come on the side, normally on the side of the piano, and you can use those to fade in or out your volume, or to bend the pitch like you would with a bend on the guitar. And so these are all really great features. Some other things is effects. You can get chorus or reverb or delay effects as well. There's all sorts of geeky things that you can look for. But that's something to start you off with for looking for a decent digital piano that's going to serve what you want it to do. Okay, thanks for tuning in to Songpond TV. Don't forget to send me your emails of what you want to see in the upcoming episodes. Bye for now.
SPTV. Proudly brought to you by Songpond.com, where you learn to play your favorite songs.